I remember during the referendum campaign that we had a litany of warnings. The sky was going to be dark. There'd be a plague of flogs on the street if we voted to leave the European Union. And the reality, as you pointed out at the top of the show, is that actually over the course of the last 2 weeks and months...
We've had the Land Rover announcement, we've had lots of good news and
exactly. So on. And I think that, therefore, the Chancellor and the Prime Minister are right, obviously, to respect the independence of the OBR, but right also to take it, as the Chancellor's aides were saying, with a pinch of salt. Because there's a challenge here, not so much for the government as for many of those who were so heavily invested in what became known as Project Fear. Because the economists and the opinion pollsters...
always want to be proved right, as you're saying.
What's one of my concerns? And also, economists overall, I think, have to recognise that their profession is in crisis. That the economics profession failed to predict the 2008 financial crash. That economists in the past argued almost to a man and woman that we should enter the single currency. They were proven wrong. And as a profession, they were proven wrong about the impact of Britain voting to leave the European Union. But as I say, I'm radically sceptical about these claims because we've been told beforehand that doom is going to follow. It hasn't. And why look in these crystal balls when you can read the book? And the book tells us, the reports tell us that, as you mentioned, that there's been significant additional investment in the British economy, that we have record low unemployment, that inflation is still at a decent and tamed level, and that economic growth is higher, and the recession, which was predicted that we would have if we voted to leave...
by now.
Yes, has gone like a puff of smoke.
Am I right to say that if we were in the customs union, we would not be able to do the free trade deals around the world that will be essential to our future outside the EU, and that therefore, in your view, we could not be in a customs union?
Yes, I can't see how you can. I think that when people voted to leave the European Union, they voted to take back control of our money, our laws, trade deals, and our borders. And that means that the single market, which is basically a bureaucratic web, we need to be out of, and the customs union, insofar as it prevents us from forging trade deals with other countries, we should be out of that too. My own view, I could live with it, my own view and preference, strong preference, is for a fair migration policy which does not discriminate between EU citizens and others. I don't see, just because you happen to be Bulgarian, why you should have any more right to come here than someone from Bangladesh. It should be a case of skills, and as you say, if it is the case that there are particular skills that people have that can aid our NHS, they should come here. But my own belief, my own conviction, is that you should have a colour-blind, non-discriminatory immigration policy. We can, I think, fairly quickly say to the other European nations, look, all your citizens who are here, they're safe. We hope that UK citizens will be safe in the EU, but we'll guarantee them. We're a civilised country. And I think we can also say...
We should be doing that right now.
Yes. And we can also say at the same time, look, if you really want to, you can start a trade war with us. But we don't want that. We want to have continued tariff-free access. You sell more to us than we do to you. So we're actually doing you net a favour. But we want to be good neighbours.
Okay.
And overwhelmingly now, almost everyone who voted leave and a significant section of people who voted remain want the government to get on with it. And we have a Prime Minister who understands that, a government that are attuned to that. And while I respect John Major's huge history of service to this country, I think on this area his reported comments are wrong. Well, I'm open to the case for a transitional agreement, but I'm not convinced that we need one, because, again, there is a tendency to overcomplicate this process. There are all sorts of things that we can do with our European partners in the future, and we should carry on doing. We should carry on cooperating with them in defence and security. We should carry on cooperating with them on environmental and terrorism areas. But outside the European Union, and these are ongoing processes, ongoing conversations that we have as a good neighbour. But my worry is that there are some people who can't get over the fact that the British people have voted to leave the European Union and want us to have a transitional arrangement which is as close as possible
as a way of avoiding Brexit.
People talk about hard Brexit. What they're really trying to do is to make a liberation sound like a punishment. I think it's far, far better to provide people with certainty and to do so by having a clear, clean and simple approach which allows us to enter a new phase, Britain as a sovereign nation outside the EU, cooperating with our friends and neighbours.